Welcome back and thanks for sticking with us. Before we jump into our second conversation for the morning, we want to share some information from the Ministry of Education. For kids that are still at home, we want to have the parents and children know that currently the schools in Belize City, both primary and high schools, have been suspended for further notice. We will be providing further information on this in our newscast. So for persons that have not left home as yet, definitely take heed to the information. But jumping into our second conversation for the morning, it's all about Apples for Kids, the fundraiser. We're joined by our friends from the Belize Camping Experience. We have with us Janelli Blanco, and she is the staff manager for the Belize Camping Experience, and also Osni Torres, and he is the head of the media department. Guys, good morning and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Now, we're no stranger for the Apple for Kids fundraiser, and also you guys from the Belize Camping Experience. I know that you guys come every year to talk about this fundraiser and why it's important. So let's get a bit of a background on why the Belize Camping Experience does this fundraiser every year and what exactly it aims to achieve.
So I believe that 2 years ago, I think during the time of COVID, was when there was a severe drought in Belize. I don't know if you remembered. And most of the Belizean people know us for Harvest for Kids. And Harvest for Kids is also another fundraiser for the Belize Camping Experience. So the farmers experienced a big drought, and we couldn't get any resources from them to continue to fund our summer day camps. And so our director, Alexander Perez, he has a very creative way of just kind of, trying to look for resources so that we can continue doing what we're doing. So local farmers here in Belize connected him with apple farmers in Chihuahua, Mexico. And they were like, can we make this happen? What are the possibilities? You know that for Christmas, everybody have the apple.
Yeah.
Right? That's just kind of like a staple.
Yeah.
And so he said, what if we can just bring in apples and have our own people purchase these apples, and in that way our own local people will be able to resource the ministry. Our vision is to see Belize change Belize, which means that if I'm a Belizean and you're a Belizean, we have everything that we need right here to be able to impact this country. And so we get literally donated a container of apples. We can't buy for it ourselves. We get people who can donate that, and we are able to resell the apples, and all profits go towards the Belize Camping Experience and what we do.
Okay. And so how long has this fundraiser been going on?
This specific fundraiser has been going on for 5 years now, I believe.
5 years,
yes, 5 years.
Because I remember you guys, you would come every December. It's more around Christmas time that we see you come. Because exactly as you mentioned, we associate the apples and grapes, but mostly apples with Christmas time.
Yes.
So it's it ties in with the Christmas spirit. But I love that you're able to incorporate this fundraiser into the Belize Camping Experience. I want to use this opportunity to talk about the Belize Camping Experience then, and what exactly this organization does. I imagine the name speaks for itself, but give us a bit of a background of the Belize Camping Experience.
Yeah, of course. So Belize Camping Experience, we're a charitable organization, and we do a lot of programs with children and youth. And one of our biggest programs is our summer day camps, like Janelli mentioned, which it does, by the name, sounds like we're doing camping and all of that kind of stuff. But
I imagine.
Actually, it's a bit different. A lot of people don't really know that what we do during the summer is that we get a lot of youth that volunteer with us, and our summer runs from like 5 to 6 weeks. And every week, prior to training, we go out into the city and we run the day camps in the neighborhoods where the kids live at. So Shepherd Sheep, that's the name of one of our clubs, which would be in Jane Usher area. We have on Albert Street. We did the one this year on George Street. And that's what it actually is, where we have like this program for kids where we're dancing, we're playing games, there's a lesson and all of that fun, but we take the camp to them. So we are there on the streets. For example, there's one camp, Shepherd Sheep, that I mentioned on Jane Usher. Miss Shannon is the one that just brings kids to her front yard, and she just wants to share to them about Jesus. So we help her out by running a summer program right in front of our house on the dirt road. We set up a tent right there on the street, and then the kids just come and we set up a speaker and we have our team there and we just have a lot of fun, and that's kind of how we connect with the kids, right? But beyond that, we also value the relationships that we build with them. So after the summer is over, when our new ministry year starts in September, we start doing follow-ups, which means that we continue going back weekly or bi-weekly into those same neighborhoods throughout the year to continue connecting with the kids. And that's just everything that we do in the children's part of things.
And that's
right?
only children. You also have other areas that you focus on as well?
Yes. The other area that we mainly focus on, it would be the youth.
Okay.
Right? Because like this past summer, we had a great summer. We reached over 10 camps in 5 weeks, which I think it was over 600 kids.
Wow.
And our team it's less than 10 people.
Wow.
So we wouldn't be able to reach that many kids. So like I mentioned before, in the summer we get volunteers, young people from all around the country to come to our base, get training, and then we go out into the city and we do that.
And if you're seeing some people that look North American, they are actually from Shipyard and Blue Creek and Spanish Lookout. So they're locals. We don't really have, and it's part of our policy, we don't really have international people come and volunteer as a group. We would take in 1 or 2 to give them the cross-cultural experience, but we like to take opportunity just to focus on the local people.
So it's important to the Belize camping experience to engage locals, for the children to interact with their own neighbors that they would be seeing in their communities. I love that you were able to identify, Osni, some of the communities that the Belize camping experience has collaborated as it relates to clubs and whatnot. Is there a reason why you focus on certain communities over others? For instance, let's talk about, you mentioned the Yabra or the Jane Usher. Jane Usher. We know that the Jane Usher community sometimes could be considered a bit more on the dangerous side because of the activities that are seen.
The hot side?
The hot side, yes.
Well, you know, I really want to shout out to all those, especially I think they're women who are literally wanting to do an impact in their community. These women have a heart for the children, they have a heart for our country, they have a heart for their community. Nobody asked them to start something. It was literally they saw a need and they jumped in right there. And so like you were saying, those hot areas like Jane Usher, George Street, right? Even that section in Albert Street. We focus on that because these are people who have come and said, hey, we need help. And we love this city. We do believe that if there is any change that is going to happen in our country, it is going to flow out of this city. The city is the heart of our country. If our city is changed, it's just going to bleed out into the different districts of Belize. So that's kind of one of the main reasons why our vision is Belize changing Belize. Belize, the country, the city, right? Belize changing other areas of Belize. Belizeans changing other Belizeans.
I love that. Belizeans changing Belize. I want to go into the Apples for Kids fundraisers, and let's talk about some of the impacts that we've seen through this fundraiser over the span of the 5 years that it has been in existence every year.
Well, if we want to talk about impacts, I'm one of the impacts. I've been with this organization for about 6 years now, and I started way before, like how Gavin and we were talking about earlier, right? But started way before, and I started as a young person. And for me, coming in from Orange Walk, because I'm originally from Orange Walk, you know that as soon as they're gonna send you to Belize City, what? Sure. You know they gotta be you put jewelry inside.
There's this perception that people, district have whenever they're taking that commute to Belize City, they feel that Belize City is so dangerous.
Right? And so I got that first-hand experience, but to be able to do camps and to actually run the summer day camps with the kids, I got to experience that firsthand, that these were regular kids, just like the kids in my village. And that these kids loved me even more than the kids in my village, right? And I think that just dawned on me, it just blew my mind out of the water. And I said, sometimes we tend to neglect this specific area of our country because of that stigma.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't want to be part of that.
Yeah.
And so I think that as I finished my studies, I asked Alexander if I could come in and join full time. And like I said, I'm just one. We have a lot of young people like Osney and Daniele who serve in the children's ministry, who has literally been raised, right, in the summer camps. And now she's leading, like she's going to the hot areas. She is the one, who is continuing to work with like Miss Shannon and Miss Sharon and Miss Julie, right? And so I think over the course of now 17 years that yes, there was people who founded it. Now we have Belizeans like Osney and myself who have come alongside this organization and have said, we want to see more. And so this specific year, we have someone from this city actually joining our team. His name is Trenton Richards. And he is from the city, he loves the city, he knows everything about the city. And it's been so good for us as an organization to be able to get even, like when you think you know the city, and then someone else from the city comes and just schools you even more, right? I think it's just been a great opportunity to be able to get even more young people now from the city, and it's kind of like a little melting pot for us, right?
It's amazing to know that you're able to have these very young persons that were a part of the summer camp now be leaders of these summer camps as well. But I want to go back to my question as it relates to the Apples for Kids fundraisers. Let's talk about some of the projects or maybe activities that will be carried out from the proceeds of this fundraiser.
Yeah. So once we go through our fundraiser, it actually goes back into everything that we've been talking about. I mean, apart from what we've mentioned with the kids and the youth, I mean, part of our youth is the leadership training that we get to have, because once we have during the summer our core team of youth, because volunteers can come in weekly, but we do select a few young people to be our core team, and they get trained for 3 weeks and they stay with us the entire summer. And after that time of serving and leadership, they get challenged if they want to do more. And we actually have 2 young men right now who did the core team in the summer, and they have just joined our team to commit that they want to serve an entire year with us, and that's part of like an internship program.
Okay.
And they get a lot of training they get leadership training, and we also show them in the different parts of ministry. So one of them is serving with Daniele in children's ministry. The other young man is actually with us today, Snyder, and he's serving with me in the media department. So we get to not just train them in leadership, but train them how to serve in these different areas. They get to learn how media works, how the video editing, photography, filming, all of those things. And then children's ministry, how to make lessons, how to connect with kids and all of that stuff. And I think that impact that I get to see is why I enjoy being able to tell people about Apples, because I know everything that it goes into. And when I get to see that mixture of young people where there's no more barriers even in culture, where you'll see just people hanging out, a Mennonite, a Spanish kid and a Creole kid just together, right? There's no difference anymore, and they're just all coming together because they want to also bring hope into the city. So I think for me that's like a really big impact.
And also, if I could add with the young person, right? We do a lot of teaching skills. So most of these young people who come are young people who haven't necessarily finished high school, right? And sometimes haven't even learned to open a bank account, or haven't learned to drive, or haven't learned to cook, right? Teaching them the basic life skills. And so for me, it's actually, like Osney was saying, the reason why we do all of this is because all of these proceeds go back into the city, they go back into our people, right? But actually teaching them these basic life skills so that, if God calls them somewhere else, they are able to fully function out there. So the more developed or training that these young people have, the better equipped that they are to work with our kids. And so when a kid is able to see someone older than them, like a big brother, right? They tend to develop that as we're doing summer camps. They're like, man, I want to be like you. right? And so there's just a positive role model that is set for them.
Yeah, that's oftentimes what takes place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, that's the perfect feed-in to ask how the public can get involved, support, participate in this fundraiser, and contact you to actually get the apples.
So our phone number is 614-3579. And you might be saying right now, man, a box of apples is too much for me. But let me tell you that you can meet with your, maybe your niece who is working or your nephew who is working. You can come together as a family if you do want to support this initiative. I also want to challenge the public that there are schools out here in the city who also would like a box of apples donated. Get in contact with those schools, get in contact with organizations, right? I'm pretty sure that Channel 5 would love to be blessed with a box of apples, right?
Look at that. Free advertising.
But there are so many, like the homeless here also. Salvation Army is here, right? Help Age Belize as well. There are so many people who can be blessed with a box of apples. If you want to, purchase a box of apples, we have an early bird promo right now. It's just $120.
And how many apples comes in it?
There is a range of 198 apples to 113, right? But they're medium-sized apples. I'm telling you, the crunch is still in it. There are no wax apples.
No
I've been doing this for 5 years. If I could get a little businessy with you, right?
I love it. No waxed apples. It's crunchy still.
Yes, and it's healthy for you. Not like those U.S. apples that have the wax on it that you still have, right? But definitely, it goes back into our city, and I think that is the whole reason why we're doing this.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. I want to also use this opportunity to invite our viewers that may be touched by the work that the Belize Camping Experience is doing. Even if you don't want to purchase apples, maybe you don't like apples, you can still support the cause. We're going into Christmas time, and that's also the season for giving. So maybe that could be something that would inspire you guys to support a worthy cause, support an organization that is doing a lot for the country, not only in Belize City as well, because as you mentioned, it's building Belize for Belize, and especially the work that you're doing in Belize City. I love the analogy that you gave, Janelle, where you said that it pours into other parts of the district. So ultimately, working on Belize City, working in areas where it would be considered that has stigma for being hot spots, it bleeds into other areas and it brings positive impacts to them. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any last words, anything else that you'd like to mention?
Well, thank you for having us. We are always so excited to be able to share with everyone about not just what the fundraisers are, but about Belize Camping Experience and how Belize Changing Belize is not just us, but that everybody who's watching, you can be a part of Belize Changing Belize. It just takes a little bit because we are all Belizeans and we all love our country. We all love our kids and our young people. They are the hope of our country. And this fundraiser, Apples for Kids, is just another way. I mean, our slogan for the fundraiser is bringing hope one box at a time, right? So we really love that, and we really encourage people to partner with us in that way so that we can continue bringing hope to our country.
Yeah.
I am Belize Changing Belize, and you are Belize Changing Belize.
And I mean, lastly, that's a really good deal. There's $120 for 190 something apples. That's less than $1. I mean, come on. We're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we wrap things up. Stay with us.